abroad. One thing I like to say, you're going on vacation. Nobody wants to see clouds when they go on vacation, right? I do, because I put all my important papers up in the cloud. So if I lose my passport, my driver's license, my traveler's checks, my COVID ID, my COVID vaccination record, everything is up in the cloud that I can get to from any server, any internet-connected device, anywhere in the world. So I put everything is in the cloud, everything.
This is Corey Jones with the Be Ready with Safetyman podcast. Join us every week for a new podcast. Follow us everywhere podcasts are played and on YouTube. Be Ready with Safetyman. This is Corey Jones.
All right, guys, we're back yet again. Safetyman podcast with the man.
Safetyman right here to keep you safe. Safetyman.co, at Safetyman on all your social media. And I'm here with Ida Hoogie. What's up?
What's up, man? Just been doing some traveling recently, internationally, which means out of our country.
Ooh. International man of business.
Yes, that is me. So I thought a good topic would be kind of international travel, blah, blah, blah. International safety. Just some things that I picked up that, situational awareness, things that, Corey's kind of taught me, but things maybe we can talk a little bit more on. And I just wanted to go over a couple brief things about traveling. So first thing I'm going to throw out there, international traveling. Just because you're from America, okay, does not mean that when you're in another country, they follow the same laws. I people need to understand that there is different laws in different countries, and a lot of them are completely different. So just because you can do it here legally, something does not mean you can do it legally somewhere else.
Right.
So, I think a lot of people get jammed up there. They think, oh, well, I can smoke this substance or I can carry this substance or something like that. First off, most countries are not as lenient as America has been in the last few years when it comes to narcotics and things like that. So unless it's prescribed medicine, I would highly advise against carrying anything you're unsure of to other countries. And even some prescribed medicines you have to check because they might not be legal in the countries you're going to.
Yeah, just look at that young lady from the WNBA who's been locked up.
That's a whole mess, I mean, I don't care what side of the political fence you're on. That's a whole mess. And, it's just you're carrying something. A country's got a different law, and that's,
Yeah, right now, America, there's a couple wars going on in the world, right? You don't want to be a potential political pawn or political bargaining chip.
That's what I think is happening to that female, unfortunately. She's kind of being used and thrown in the middle, and it kind of sucks, no matter how you look at it. I mean, someone, did she make a mistake? I don't know. I'm not going to go down that route right now, but I mean, you don't want to get stuck there. So international travel. The other thing I'm going to say I definitely highly recommend, if you don't speak the language of the other country, make sure that you get a Google Translate app. It's very simple to use and very easy to show other people how to communicate. It will save you a lot of time. Don't wait till you're there trying to figure out things. What I did too is recently went to Spain. I speak a little bit of Spanish, not much. I printed out a card that had a bunch of little things on there. I can't remember how to say all of them, but how to find this or how to do this. 15 key things if I got
Mas queso.
Yeah. More cheese, right? Yeah. See, I know that one. More cheese. More cheese, please.
Yes.
So, asking certain things, how to get places, how to find the baños, which is bathroom. Different things. So I had them just in case I got stuck. Going different places. The top thing that people told me now, when I was traveling overseas and I'm going to England, I've been to Spain, the violence isn't as bad, but a lot of pickpockets. Had one instance that I ran into where I was with a group, guy kind of looked a little out of place, which I kind of noticed right away, but I was there with other people and I could tell they didn't really notice. And someone said something to me and I said, yeah, I saw. And then I saw this guy kind of trying to infiltrate the group. He wasn't being violent, he wasn't being loud, but I saw this doesn't look right. So I just walked up right next to him, made it kind of a little bit awkward, not aggressive, but got a little closer than probably normal, and he kind of knew all right, this guy's...
He's on to me.
Yeah. So I kind of had to step behind him, I didn't get in front of him and kind of step back behind him and kind of shadowed him a little bit.
Yeah.
And then he just kind of faded away. But I this guy's trying to pickpocket. I mean, I think that's something to look out for in a lot of, especially if you're in tourist stuff. I mean, that's in America too.
Yeah, it is. It's everywhere. But it's good. I like to hear when other people exercise those skills, because you exercise a skill set. You obviously know how to describe it because of your training experience, but whoever that other person was in the group noticed that guy was acting out of character.
It was actually a female teacher, and she said something to me, and I saw it first, and she said, yeah, I'm gonna go up here and just see.
Make sure you commend her if you haven't already. And tell her to make sure she hones that skill and use it as powerful as it is, because a person who's going to pickpocket you in a country where he or she feels comfortable pickpocketing is going to just cast off a little bit of nervousness. But somebody who's going to do a violent crime to you, right, in your own home or your home state or in your parking lot, they're going to cast a little bit more of that body energy. Those other nonverbals, they're going to not be fitting in the baseline. So definitely that's a really good story. I seize upon those tiny little details because those are the things we're going to give you that are going to help you prevent or see danger before it even happens to you, so you can steer clear of it whether you're here or traveling abroad. One thing I like to say, you're going on vacation, nobody wants to see clouds when they go on vacation, right? I do, because I put all my important papers up in the cloud. So if I lose my passport, my driver's license, my traveler's checks, my COVID ID, my COVID vaccination record, everything is up in the cloud that I can get to from any server, any internet-connected device, anywhere in the world. So I put everything is in the cloud, everything.
I just want to throw this out there to make it clear, because I think people get confused too, and I just want to make this clear. There's a huge difference between stereotyping people and paying attention to what they're doing. And that's a whole other topic for another day. But in this situation, the person was of the same color as the rest of us. And it wasn't that they were, anything like that. It was just the little things they were doing, the way they were walking. Normal people, if you watch people, they walk in a certain tendency, or they're on their phone and they're moving in certain directions. Yeah. It's the little details, and I can't really describe them all because it's something that you pick up in your sixth sense. It's the way he was kind of maneuvering into the crowd. I just started seeing it slowly, and so just know that stereotyping and being aware of what is actually happening and people are acting are two different things, okay? I want people to understand that because there's a big difference between them.
And don't forget, too, that it was echoed by another person. You did not describe it with her beforehand. Yes. You didn't prepare her for that beforehand, but you both picked up on the same characteristics, which is, again, more evidence that it's not stereotyping because of who this person looked like or what they may have represented or what was written on their shirt or anything like that. It was their actions. Their actions did not fit the norm. And there's a great book on it, a fantastic book on that called Left of Bang, and it will tell you, it'll quantify, it'll give you the ability to write down exactly what that person was doing. So heaven forbid you do have to do that and make a call to the police or something like that, and somebody wants to say that you're profiling or acting racist or something like that. You can say, nope, this was the baseline. Everybody here was a comfortable area, the general good atmospherics. People were walking slowly, and this person moved quickly. He looked nervous and dominant, and he came up and did these things. And then you can get the book out, and you'll be good to go.
Yeah, there's a lot of good actions in that book that talk about, because I think he was over in the Middle East, and so same thing. Is he profiling Middle Easterns? No, he was describing exactly what they're doing, again, overseas. I mean, that was a war zone, a little different. But, again, day to day, he was walking through the villages, the towns. He knew how people acted. So when there was things that were different, you start picking up on those things. And a lot of things, listen, I don't care where you travel, right? The language might be different. The clothes might be different. The religions, the beliefs might be different. There's human tendencies that are very much the same. The way people kind of walk or, get together and, act and things like that. And there's definitely the strange behavior that people, the nervousness, right? Yeah. Like aggressiveness, just the way that people portray themselves are things that are universal traits across the board, and those are the key elements you need to look at when trying to see that kind of stuff.
Yeah, it actually goes into that too. The universal, I guess you could say facial expressions would be like happy, sad, contempt, disgust, fear, are universal facial expressions that doesn't matter where you grew up, what part of the world you live in, whether you have hair in your face or no hair in your face. Those facial expressions or the emotion that they are indicating are they consider universal. Can they be faked? Yeah, but then you have to do with the context, which we would always do, is put everything in context when we're doing that. Another thing I want to throw out there, and I alluded to it before, but we are, on the tail end of a pandemic, depending on what you believe, tail end, middle end, whatever. There was a pandemic. COVID is still around. People are still dying from COVID. People are still catching COVID. People start getting sick from COVID. And the COVID policy, state by state, country by country, region by region, could change at any time. So I'm going to be traveling soon to Europe, and we just got our second boosters. And we have made sure we have our COVID cards, and we made sure that we have our COVID cards up in the cloud, because right now, everything seems to be clear. But who knows, while the 3 weeks were there, if something could change, something could be different, there could be another variant. I'm doing my best to not have to be held hostage in another country
Yes.
or have my travel plans interrupted, if not canceled, or heaven forbid get sick. I mean,
Yeah.
at the beginning of the day, I don't want to get sick, so have your records up to date.
Yeah, that was one thing we had to get when I went to Spain. We had to get a PCR test done. So look into the U.S. Embassy. That's the best place to look for each of these countries of what is needed. That's where I found, what I needed, what kind of test, because there's 4 different kinds of COVID tests. So you got to make sure you're taking the right one, have the documentation, like Corey said, on your phone in the cloud as well, and maybe a physical copy. Like I printed one out and kept it with me with my important stuff. Other things while traveling, going off pickpocketing a little bit. If you're carrying a bag, I wouldn't really recommend something unless it's a drawstring bag. I like carrying the drawstrings because you can't really get into them unless you actually slice them open or rip them open. Mm-hmm. If you're carrying bags with a lot of zippers, very easy to just come by and unzip and then walk back and grab what you need. I recommend keeping stuff in the front of your persons. If that's a fanny pack, which is actually back in style now, that's now a new thing again. But a lot of people are carrying them on the front of their chest or in their front pockets. That's what I would recommend for carrying your important documents. If you got just clothes in your book bag that you're carrying and someone wants to steal your dirty laundry, then hey, more power to them, right?
Yeah.
But your license,
just wash it and bring it back.
Yeah. Your license, your Visa card, your passport, like that important stuff that's going to really put a bad day if that gets taken away is the things that you want to make sure that you're kind of in your front, pockets and things like that.
Exactly. And you just kind of alluded to why this next one could be important is make a note, put a drop pin in your map, make a note, memorize the address of the nearest embassy or consulate, U.S. base, if not any kind of international location. You can go online and spend about 10 minutes before your travel and save yourself potentially a lot of hassle if you know the closest base, whether they're Americans or American friendlies, who can help you, keep you out of the weather, keep you out of trouble, house you until we can get the actual people there that can get you home safely, or if you get separated from your party. So try to locate that. Also program their phone number in your phone, especially if you can get a phone that works on the network that's in over there. Program that phone number and address into your phone. So if something happens, you lose everything. I'm just trying to give you as many ways as you can, so it'd be much easier at 2 o'clock in the morning than trying to ask somebody else for help, than take your own phone and say, I'm at this street, I'm an American, and I need help, I'm lost, whatever.
So 2 things that I'm just going to touch on what you said, which I have written down. I want to touch on for sure. One of the things I had was on the back of that card with the things printed on there. We also had the address of the hotel where we were staying. Mm-hmm. So in case I had to show someone real quick or emergency situation and someone goes through my pockets, EMS or something like that, they know where I was staying or a contact. I had a contact phone number on there. The other thing too is since you talked about phones. Make sure that your phone is able to be used there. Now, for me, I have AT&T and FirstNet now, and for me, it was like $10 a day. I called ahead of time. We have an international plan. It's $10. Look up the countries you're going to. See if they accept the plan, because you don't want to get stuck in some place that you're spending a ton of money, and you come back from vacation like, yeah, I had a great time, and then all of a sudden you get hit with a $1,000 bill. You're like, oh. So call your company. They'll usually set it up for you. Took me literally about 3 minutes for them. Hey, I'm traveling here. Yes, we have that plan. It's $10 a day, includes unlimited this and that. Okay, great. They said as soon as I go on there, turn off your airplane mode, reset your phone, it will pick up the nearest tower, and then you're good to go. So that was very simple, very easy to do. Other thing to touch on that as well is money is the last thing I have. 2 things. One, if you're going to be using your Visa card somewhere out of the country, again, call your bank and let them know, because you'll go over and you'll use a transaction and will get denied, and then you don't know what the guy's telling you or the girl's telling you that's denied. You're having communication errors. Call your bank, let them know ahead of time that you can usually put a bypass, or they send you a text message saying like, hey, did you just use this to buy a candy bar in the middle of East Bumble, wherever. And the other thing I did too is I always like to carry a little bit of cash on me in case, God forbid, my stuff gets stolen. So if you call your local bank before you travel, you can see if they have, so I was traveling to Spain, they use the Euro system, so the bank had euros. Now, a lot of banks, if they don't have it on them, the currency you're needing, if you give them about a week or 2 advance notice, they'll actually order it for you, and then you had to pay a small fee. I think it was like $5 I had to pay a fee, but I was able to get a few $100s of euros, transferred over, and then I carried them on my person. So it just made things easier as well.
Definitely makes things easier. All this stuff is pre-planning, and it take you longer to listen to this podcast than it will actually do these things. Most of them you can do on your phone while you're actually listening to the podcast. You could probably done all of them. You could probably pause it and say, okay, I put that in the cloud, took a picture of my license. Good. I'm glad I did that, right? Two last things, Anthony, then we can get out of here. One is the CIA World Factbook or the United States State Department website. You can always check every country in the world on there and check a live status report to determine what travel recommendations there are, because there are no risk, medium risk, high risk, and extreme risk of violence towards Americans or towards foreigners if you go to that country. So you can check your country. Obviously, like I said, there's a war right across the pond in Europe. And that could, at any second, something could go sideways. And if you are caught over there, you want to know where the safe place to go. But if you're over there and you want to do a day trip or something, take your phone, check the name of the place you're going to, and see what it is. You can also lock it in your phone, so heaven forbid you get lost and somebody can get your phone. They can find out at least the last one or two things you looked at. And finally, look up what are some of the customs that are in that town, that region, that area that you're going to. What are some things that you want to always do when you say hi to somebody or say goodbye to somebody or meet somebody, and what are some of the things you'd never want to do?
Yeah, definitely.
Not everybody's in America. Not everybody wants you to hug them, and fist bump them and high five them and all of that. Some things could be rude, offensive, or fighting words to people. So look for those customs that are in there. Taking your shoes off when you go in somebody's house or whatever.
That's a good point. Yeah, looking at the customs of the place that you're going. I mean, first off, it's respectful, and two, it might avoid you getting punched in the face, by doing the wrong thing. Yeah. So that's always good. If you guys have any international travel tips, we would love to hear them. Drop them down in comments. Let us know maybe some personal stories or things that helped you.
We spent all this time talking about all this negative stuff. We also want to know, how do you say beer in Spanish?
Cerveza. Right?
Yeah. So I'm going to a country where the word beer is pivo. So if I want a beer in this country, I go, prosim si pivo. And then they'll bring it to me, and I'll go, Jakiam. And that's how you say thank you.
Okay.
Right, so we want to learn some fun things, too. This isn't all about just, oh, my God, I'm James Bond. No, we want you to have fun. But we want you to get all this stuff out of the way so you can have fun and not have to worry.
Yes. I mean, just a little pre-planning goes.
Yeah. Prosim si people.
What country is that?
Slovakia.
Oh, okay. Nice. So there you go. So if you want to know how to order a beer there in Slovakia, now you know. So you learn all kinds of stuff from us.
You never even thought.
Guys, thanks a lot for following. Drop your comments down below. Hit the like button. Subscribe to the channel. We're over 1,000 now, so appreciate all that.
Indeed.
And you can check out Corey for some more information on his business at
Safetyman.co or at SafetymanCO on all social media.
All right, guys. Thank you, and we'll see you on the next one.
Stay safe.